so Comcast Technology Solutions, we're at a sort of macro level, and representing Comcast. We're both a broadcaster and a major advertiser ourselves. So Comcast Technology Solutions have been sort of born about to build technology solutions for those sell side and buy side challenges, and then take that out to the wider industry. And what I lead is the advertising solutions group, so specifically all things advertising. So we service both the buy side, so agencies direct, agencies and brand direct, as well as actually programmers where ads are flighting on the sort of the publisher side. And our primary goal day to day is we're all about managing the creative asset and the kind of workflows behind that to ensure that we bring a lot of these constituent manual processes and automate it and ensure those ads flow from the buy side, from the agency side and advertiser side seamlessly and frictionlessly to the programmer side. So that's our day to day.
So tell us a little bit about ad serving and how that fits into what you guys do.
Yeah, well, what in this particular sort of technical integration we've done with Flashtalking, they're one of the leading global lights in ad serving. And what this sort of strategic technical integration that we've done with them allows us to, it's a sort of two-way integration that allows us to, in terms of our platform, our ad management platform, bridge that linear and digital divide. And then we tap into Flashtalking, which then allows that creative asset in the right format to then be sent and served via Flashtalking across all the digital endpoints that they cover. And that's point one. And point two, and this is the important piece, is then that feedback loop of data then comes back so that the brand or agency and advertiser can then see in the ad management platform what assets have run where, both across linear and digital. And this is a great jumping off point, because what it will do then is, with the real-time nature of digital, you might see a specific ad version in a digital space perform well, creative A against creative B or C. That can start to inform maybe what linear ads we're then serving in terms of speed and response. So we're starting to get into that sort of virtuous positive circle of addressability and performance, and then optimizing creative in terms of channel as well. So it's pretty exciting.
So how does that work in terms of getting creative, working with the agencies, working with brands? What is getting the results? What does that whole cycle look like?
Yeah, well, if you think about the problem that exists today, there's a lot of constituent parts and frankly, a lot of manual processes, whether that be a media buy, the creative asset, the traffic instructions of that asset, i.e. where it should be going and what frequency and rotation. Also including things like talent rights as well. And that's another important point around which ad flights and do you have the rights for that ad to flight. So what we've done in terms of the ad management platform is bring a lot of those manual processes and the sources of truth into one unified solution, which is the ad management platform. And then again, the realities are within the industry is that there's still a siloed approach between the linear world and the digital world, and we've sort of bridged that gap. So what you then have is a unified view of the buy, the asset or assets, the creative assets, and where they should flight across all channels. And then this integration with Flashtalking means that those ads on the digital side can be sort of fully distributed. We manage all the linear side, and then that feedback loop all comes in. So then the user or users, whether that be a media planning buying agency, the creative agency, they can get a unified view and real-time reports of actually what's happened to those assets, where they've actually landed, what their performance is looking like in one place. And I think I reiterate the point about in one place versus these two kind of siloed linear on one hand and digital on the other. So that's the sort of the nut that we've cracked. And all the conversations we've had in the industry, both brand direct and agency, it solves a massive pain point for them.
And the linear pipes will work okay? With digital, of course, creative versioning's been done for some time. What are some of the challenges in linear, and what have you solved there?
Well, actually, the linear side is not really the challenge. We've been doing this for a number of years now. So, we take core creative assets and versions of those assets, and then get those distributed to. In the US, is about 20,000 endpoints. But as I say, that's not been the challenge, because that's been one channel to manage. What we've cracked is how we unify and bring together both linear and digital in one place and not have them siloed. And then you get to this point with this emergence now, and you've seen in the press over the last few months a number of proof of concepts kicking into the industry, and we're part of that around addressability. What we are seeing as a macro trend is ad volume growth, literally increasing by about 7x over the next 3 to 4 years. So if you think about today, if we're trying to manually process ads and where they go across linear and digital today, and that's complicated, with the emerging CTV and OTT and addressable channels that are out there, with that volume growth, it's going to be huge. So you need automation, and to make it frictionless between sort of linear and digital and unifying it in one place. So that's what we solve for. So it's not about cracking the linear nut. It's actually unifying linear and digital and making it seamless and transparent.
And just to be clear, Richard, you guys work with Comcast, but other publishers, of course. You're agnostic, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this platform, in terms of the business I run, we're completely agnostic. It's a technology play, and hence this technical integration with Flashtalking, and there's others down the pipe, because there's a lot of important point-based technological solutions out there. So we're trying to be a unifier. And clearly at the wider Comcast level, you're right, obviously there's Freewheel, a sister business to us that has a lot of the big publisher relationships. On the sort of SSP side, obviously you're aware, I know you did the conversation with Dave around the Beeswax acquisition. And obviously there's NBC on the other side and Effective on the other side. So so we're both a programmer, but also we support the publisher community as well.
So what's next for you guys? What's on the horizon for CTS?
Well, I think we're excited, and I think this, what we've announced today, and there'll be other sort of news over the coming months, gets to a real base level of a foundation about this unification of assets across channel, and that's a really, really important base. What we're looking at sort of into the future, going into next year, with again this emergence of addressability, and therefore personalization of creative. We've got a team, our creative solutions group, that already do a semi-automated version of taking a core broadcast quality ad and versioning that and kind of semi-automating it. But what you can imagine going into the future is, let's use an auto example, where you've got maybe 1,000 versions of an ad going across different channels and different formats. Is that real-time nature of what worked and what versions worked and what hasn't, then optimizing that creative on the fly, which becomes really, really interesting. So therefore, you and I are on this conversation. We shouldn't be seeing one ad. You get one version of an ad and I get a different one, but maybe the next ad that you see might be a different version of that ad because you didn't respond to it in the first place. So it's all around creative optimization in real time. And there's clearly some technology we need to kind of build, listening to ad decision and segments and audience segments and understanding all that. But that I think is the next bastion to crack in a world of emerging addressability across channel. So we're really excited about that next hurdle.